So, hello everyone. We're Wisconsin Voices for Recovery, and we're presenting a Saturday Night Live monthly recovery chatter. SNL is about recovery chats with advocates from our ED2 Recovery Plus program. Tonight we have our guest Trevor. Trevor, if you would like to introduce yourself, you may.
Hi, I'm Trevor Konetsky. I just started with the ED2 program. I think it's really cool. I found out about it through work. I work at Castle Care Treatment Facility, which is a division of Apricity. Is a AODA treatment facility, residential. I've been there for almost 3 years now. Got about 4.5-ish years clean. I got my start at Mooring House. I'm currently enrolled in Fox Valley Tech, the AODA counseling program, or substance use disorder counseling program, they now call it. Yeah.
And as always, you can follow us in our Facebook page. We're typically broadcasting this at Saturdays at 5 p.m. monthly. So, Trevor, just tell me a little bit more about yourself. Like, what is your interest in this area?
Well, in like the recovery area or just in life in general?
Both, actually.
Well, I never really had something I was passionate about, growing up, or, in an active addiction, and, going through treatment, and, my counselor helping me as much as he did. It was an amazing feeling. So I kind of just jumped head first. I left a pretty decent paying job, took a pay cut and went to Mooring House. I started there, and I fell in love with working with recovery and people in recovery. There are the downs when people relapse, or worst case scenario, overdose and don't make it. But then you get those victories that you get to see, in first person view. You get to see these people grow and achieve these goals, and I want nothing more than to be a part of that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, I like trying new things. Me and my girlfriend are always trying new things. We started building puzzles. We got some pets. We just got some pet ferrets. That's definitely a full-time job. It's pretty interesting. Trying to learn how to play the guitar. I'm just downloaded an app to try and learn sign language. I'm always trying to learn new things. I figure if I know sign language, then what happens if I get a deaf client in? Nobody can really communicate, and then that's an avenue to really connect to somebody that doesn't get to connect with people on a daily basis like that.
It sounds like you're really just delving into this full force and really passionate about what you do.
Absolutely.
So tell me more about your own story with addiction.
Well, it's been a long one. I kind of started experimenting with, weed and alcohol when I was maybe 13 years old, 12, 13 years old. I never really fit in. I was the fat kid growing up and wasn't really that popular. And, when people wanted to hang out with me and smoke weed and stuff, I jumped right into that. And then it progressed into partying and, different drugs here and there. I kind of got into, the bad crowd, and, they were dealing drugs, and, and that was all before I even turned 18 or was living on my own. Well, actually, I started living on my own at 16, kind of, monitored by my dad, but I was kind of free to party, and my parents divorced when I was young, so it was hard for them to keep tabs on us. I was always gone. I was always out drinking, getting high. I was smoking crack at the age of 15. Got job after job, lost job after job. I lost friends to it. I've lost family members to it. I've lost a son with my ex, who's still in active addiction, and I wish her the best, but that was one of the hard things that I do in going to treatment is, cut ties with that. I've had close calls with the law. I it just got so bad. That's all my life was getting high or finding drugs or finding money to get drugs, or I could never hold down a job. I had no way or no problems getting a job. I was always very good at talking or manipulating or lying or making myself out to be something that I wasn't. I was never really able to be my true self because I always had to put on facade or that lifestyle, those people that I was dealing with. And that was destroying me. Aside from the drugs, like I couldn't live like that. And eventually, after losing a child, and we got pregnant twice more after that. She lost two more. My first son, and my dad passed away 31 days apart. I was low, and I didn't think I could, but I got even worse into it. Using meth and heroin 3, 4, 5 times a day. And then, finally I broke up with my fiance broke up with me. I was working for my landlord at the time, in a plumbing apprenticeship, and we got into a fight and I quit. I was behind on rent. So, in the same day on my birthday, it was too, I lost my fiance, I lost my job, I was going to lose my apartment, my car was breaking down. And, I didn't see any other way out, other than, taking my own life. And I did not succeed at that. I tried getting really drunk so I could have, the courage to do it. And I ended up falling asleep before I could, not after sending my family messages, telling them I loved them. My brother had shown up at my house and climbed up a wall in a balcony and broke in my house and woke me up. And, I got mad that, I couldn't even do that. So I hopped in my car and drove off and went back to my house and tore the place apart, and just went into a full rage and crying and throwing things and just breaking everything that I had because I had failed at yet another thing. Finally went to sleep and I woke up and, my family was scared, and I called my mom and I told her I needed to get help. Like I had finally had enough.
And what was the first steps that you took towards recovery?
I had tried going to a couple meetings before all of that, and I went high every time and was more paranoid and really didn't pay attention to the message that was being conveyed. It was more, paranoia. Who knows I'm high? What am I doing here? It was more of people that I was involved with that wanted me to go, and so that's why I didn't think recovery would work for me. But when I had called my mom, we went down to Winnebago County Health and Human Services, and I had talked to John Phillip, who is no longer there anymore. I believe Amber Elvert took his spot. And my mom came with me, and he was going to put me in outpatient and asked if I had anybody with me there that day. And I said, yes, my mom. And he's like, well, do you mind if she comes in? And, she came in and he explained that, he thinks the best option would be outpatient. And right away she goes, oh, hell no, he needs inpatient. So then they had contacted Mooring House, which my younger sister is actually doing an internship at Casa Clare. So I didn't know if it would be a conflict of interest for me going there, but it was also an end too, I guess, because they did end up letting me go, and I had just went in completely defeated, open-minded, and ready to change.
And any particular triumphs that you've experienced during your first time, the first steps you took towards recovery?
Well, not with those meetings. I mean, it kind of put it in the back of my head and kind of gave me the, thought that I didn't like meetings, that I couldn't do meetings. And my my counselor challenged me to try a meeting, and I went into it closed-minded, thinking I wasn't going to like it, and it was actually an older group of guys, and they just kind of sat around talking. Really kind of got deep, and it was something that really opened my eyes, and that was like the smallest. Well, it wasn't small. That was probably one of the first turning points. I had been in treatment about 2 weeks, still feeling like crap. I had to catch myself there. Detoxing. And I didn't talk to anybody. I didn't, involve myself with my peers or anything. And after that meeting, is what really changed things for me.
Mm-hmm. And it sounds like there was a lot of things that happened where it kind of reinforced your path to recovery. What were some of the other supports and other motivations that you had throughout the time?
My family has been a huge support through everything. As much as I alienated them and pushed them away, or as bad as I treated them, they never left my side. They were there 100% of the time. We had lost my father to a cocaine overdose, and had to watch him wither away on life support. My family didn't want to go through that again. And I'm not just talking about my brothers and sisters. They had a family day, and I had all my aunts and uncles came, and it was really touching. I've got only a couple friends that still talk to me, and they're very old friends. I don't really talk to anybody that I was hanging with at the time when I was using, but there's a couple of them that actually stayed in touch and were very supportive as well. My sister going to school for counseling was very understanding. We went from never really talking to incredibly close.
Mm-hmm. And where are you with your recovery now?
Well, as we kind of explained in the beginning, I'm immersed in it. I'm surrounded by it. My girlfriend is a substance use counselor and mental health therapist. I work there. I do the ED2. I'm going to school for it. I'm all in. I try and do online meetings with whole COVID and time frame of everything, because I am pretty busy. But that part of my life has somewhat been lacking, but I still do. I talk to a few close friends in recovery on almost a daily basis. I always keep in contact with the positive people in my life.
And is there anything that you're still concerned with your path to recovery?
The financial aspects of it. I did a lot of damage, so that is a constant shadow over me, bearing down on me. I've actually done really well with it, so that is a lot of stress. But I do utilize a lot of coping tools. It's I'm not worried about running into people or being in a wrong situation. I don't allow myself to do. There's still times when I get the cravings or thoughts of usings, or see somebody using in a movie and get the chills or shivers, or this twisting in my gut, because or when I see people that are doing really bad, it brings me back to where I was, and I don't ever want to be like that again. I don't have many worries, apart from the normal worrying about family members passing or something, but I wouldn't resort to using because of that.
And is there any things or kind of aspects that you appreciate a lot more in life now that you are in recovery?
Yeah, my family. I now that I'm in recovery, I actually participate. We always used to go out to eat, dinner, like we do it almost every Sunday, extended family too. I never really involved myself with my family. So I took that for granted. The small things, be able to, not worry about running out of gas, not worry about, spending my last $5. It's really, the small things that I'm able to do in life now that I'm not, using or concentrating all my efforts on using. I don't mind shoveling snow. I mean, now thankfully we don't have to do that anymore, but it's being able to do the day-to-day things that I wasn't able to do or didn't care about. And of course the big things, going to school is huge. I never pictured myself going back to school or college, like I didn't really picture myself living past 30, so having this extra time and, having these wonderful people in my life and, the support network that I do have is just amazing. All my coworkers are just awesome people and, would do anything they can to help.
That is one amazing story that you have, and we're glad that you're able to share it with us. Next up, I would like to ask you if there is any advice or words of wisdom that you have for someone who is currently struggling. What would they be?
I mean, I know how hard it is to ask for help. I still have issues with it. Everybody wants to do things on their own, or like it's okay to ask for help. Like there's so many people out there that are willing to help that you don't even know, that they don't know you. They're just willing to help because they've been where you are and know how that feels. And people in recovery, like one of the biggest things I see people slipping on is hanging out with the old people, the old crew, and oh, they won't use around me, but they're going to be high around you, and that's going to affect you. Like whether you think it's not, it's going to, like just find the positive people that are there to help, that will help, that you can lean on, the friends that are, that they want good in their lives. You don't want to associate with the people that are just going to bring you down. You are who you hang out with. That's honestly one of the biggest things. Like when I first went into treatment, 35 days after I got there, I was able to sign out and go on passes and stuff, and my fiance or girlfriend at the time showed up there wanting to talk to me, drunk. And this is the same person that I've known since we were 14 years old. We'd been together almost 5 years. We had lost 3 children together, and I couldn't do it, like that was one of the hardest ties that I had to cut, and I did, and it was hard, but it was a relief, like cutting those people, those unhealthy people out of your life can only help you. It sucks, it hurts, I get it, but they're going to drag you down.
And any final thoughts you have regarding either your recovery or advice that you would like to give those who are struggling?
Try meetings. I mean, they may not be for you. You may not like the 12 steps, but it puts you in a room full of people that have the same goal. Whether you like the readings, whether you like the program or not, that's fine. You don't have to like it, but find people in recovery that you can lean on. Find a sponsor, a mentor, or whatever you want to call it. Try different avenues of recovery. Find something that works for you. Everybody's recovery is going to be different. Everybody's path is different. Nobody's the same person. Everything, they have evidence-based practice, sure, that works for treatment and groups and outpatient and all that stuff. But, it's not all going to work for you. Some of it will. I mean, take that to heart. Listen when, people with 20, 30 years are, like telling you you're screwing up, people are going to notice it most of the time more than you, be open.
And with that, thank you very much for sharing your story. You have a really powerful story that you just shared, and we're really glad to have you here, both to have us to hear your story, but also to be here with camaraderie for Wisconsin Voices for Recovery. So I'd like to extend a thank you for coming on to our program.
Absolutely.
And with that, that ends our Saturday Night Live monthly recovery chatter. If you're interested in further details, please join us in our subsequent events. And also you can always check out our Facebook page as well. Thank you all for coming here.